Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, guys. So I'm just waiting for a few more people to come in. And so we have been having some technical difficulties. So I had to start the live over. But we made it here. We thank God under all conditions. Let me know if you can hear me because I have on my mic. So as we get ready to get started and we are, healing health issues with the chosen ones. So that's our topic. I don't know if it made it on my live today, but that's our topic for today. To heal the issues, the health problems, the health issues of the chosen ones. And we're going to take a look at what the holy books have. Those medical issues that are closely related to the Holy Bible, to the Holy Quran. Those people who have the skin problems, who have problems. I've been seeing a lot of people online with scalp issues, with open wounds necessitating the scalp, or boils necessitating the scalp. So we want to make sure that we're taking a look at, the similarities that the holy books have, and some of the health issues that we had in the holy books at that time. And I have been getting some calls during our full moon cleanse about some of the young women said that they have used some of the cleanses and some of the washes, the internal and external holistic medicine, and their cycle stopped or their cycle started. So when we have your cycle stop, then that means that you're on the right path. You're on the right path. When your cycle starts back, then we have to make sure that we are addressing that with the type of healing, spiritual healing that we see in the holy books. So, for that issue, I want a lot of you to read Mark 5:25 through 34. And that verse speaks about the woman with the issue of blood. And what I'm going to explain to you, because a lot of you already know that verse. And there are a couple of verses in the Holy Bible that talks about these types of health issues that concern women. We'll get to you guys in a minute. We'll get to the men in 1 second, guys. So, please hit the like button, please. And we have also that Matthew 9:20 through 22 also speaks about the woman with the issue of blood. And we have Luke 8:43 through 48, which also speaks about the woman with the issue of blood. So when we're talking about these types of ailments, and some of the men have called me with the ailment of neuropathy, with fibromyalgia, widespread pain to their face that they can't get rid of. They've had problems with their gut, with their stomach, bloating in their stomach. And so we want to make sure that we're cleansing these types of negative energy, and we can look in the Holy Bible and see that some of these ailments that we have are very close to the Holy Bible that we're going through, that we're experiencing. I've had a lot of men that reach out to me with their prostate. They're having problems with their prostate. They're going to the doctor, and they either have an enlarged prostate where they get up, several times, or what you call those kidney stones and things of that nature. We have the same thing with women, where we have the enlarged stomach and the bloating and all of these types of issues. So we want to make sure that we are looking in the Holy Bible to see what is closest to our situation. We are looking in the Holy Quran to see, if there were other prophets or other people in the holy books that were closest to our situation. So the first thing that I want to tell you is that with the woman with blood, her faith is what healed her, because she felt that if she only could touch the prophet Jesus, peace be upon Jesus, that she would be healed. So we have to have that kind of faith. And I always say to you in every session that we have to have that kind of connection to God. Now, and also in this story, I also wanted to give you the idea that, there is only a chosen one. Hello, Mariko 43. Hi there. Thank you. Well, and when we have this understanding that only certain things can be healed by the chosen ones, the prophets that God sent to, earth in order to, give you an understanding that you can go to as many physicians as you want to, just like this young lady who had the issue of blood for 12 years. You can go to the doctors, and certain things will not be able to be healed with you. Malcolm X sister, please. We're not doing that. We're talking about healing the chosen ones. So, the most understandable idea that we can gain from this situation is that certain things you will not be able to go to the doctors with. You will have to be healed by, the people that's laying hands on you, the spiritual healers, the people whom God has sent in order to heal these types of ailments in your body. I've known many men, and they do not like to go to the doctor, and they'll say, I didn't feel better until I came to you. I know Malcolm X. Yes, I have read the story. I have seen the movie. Yes, Mariko at Mariko 43. Yes, I have. I thank you for that. So we want to make sure that we have an understanding that there are certain ailments that will go on with the chosen ones, that we will have to seek the means and the holistic medicine that God has sent for us in the situation on earth. We will have to seek those people out whom God has blessed with the understanding that has the healing methods. And as we understand that Jesus was going around healing people, and he drawed a very large crowd. I'm your favorite. Well, first of all, I'm a female, so I'm not. Well, we already know that I'm not a transgender. But if that's what you want to, say on my live, then I'm gonna have to remove you. Okay, so let that be the reason. We're not talking about supporting Israel in here. Please hit the like button, guys. Yes, we know everything that's going on in the earth, but we're talking about healing the chosen ones, and we're definitely not going to those healthcare providers that are putting us out in the cold, that are taking our money, but we're not being seen in those medical places. And I did a video about the malpractice and all of those types of things as well. But, as we compare our situation to the holy books as chosen ones, then we also have to understand that when we are going to these medical professionals that God has not ordained for us to go to, that, we have taken on the ways of the entity. I can understand that they have given us some of the ways that we can treat and control certain ailments and illnesses. And we take what's good, but we have to leave off a lot of that stuff where they're just doing experimentations on us. So, these are some of the things that we have an understanding. But, like I have been telling all of you, certain ailments cannot be healed by, even the chosen ones. If you have done things that are against God, and I like to make sure that I keep these types of, thoughts in your mind, that if you aren't walking in your calling, if you're not doing what God has told you to do, if you are averse to what God has told you to do, like Jonah, God can inflict you with a sickness that no one can remove but God. And when we are talking about this, I've been talking about the Apostle Paul. He was afflicted with a thorn in his side. So, God did not remove the thorn in his side because he acted better, when he had this thorn in his side, this affliction with him. So we have to have that understanding first when we are trying to, well, we got the motorcycle gang going around here. Okay, there they go. So we have to make sure that we are acting accordingly and we are obedient to God, because God can afflict us. He can mentally afflict us. He can physically afflict us with different illnesses and sicknesses. So I wanted you to be aware of that, and you can read about that in 2 Corinthians 12, 7 through 10. I'll see you later too. Mariko 47. The chosen ones can be healed. A lot of the ailments that the chosen ones have can be healed, through the regular holistic medicines that our mothers and fathers used to take. A lot of times that they had a better immune system back in that time than we do now, because they were using the holistic medicine. They were not allowing these people to, experiment on their bodies with different types of drugs, with different types of, elements, and sending negative energy to them by malpractice and things of that nature. So again, I've had some of the men call me and say that they have, been bloated. And I have to ask the men, how many relationships have you been in? Are you still eating from those ex-relationships, those women that you divorced or you no longer see? Or what is going on in your life? What have you been doing? And so a lot of times they tell me that they're eating fast food. They're eating at these restaurants that doesn't provide the correct nutrients. There is, pork fats in their food. They're eating from anywhere, anybody, people that do not even like you, but you're eating from them. You divorced this wife, 5 years ago, but you're still going by there to pick up food from her. So these are the types of ways that you can have problems with your gut, or somebody can send toxins to your body, or inflict you with black matter in your body, and that goes all over your body. If you are having problems with your prostate, you can look in the holy books and also find different kinds of ailments that was afflicting other people in the holy books, and you will see how they dealt with it and how we deal with this in this day and time. We have advanced. We have a lot of advancement that we can remove this negative energy internally and externally, and I did a video earlier, where, when I had my own caregiving home, and I had some of the mental and physical challenged people would come to me, and I would ask them, can I use my foot rub on you? And they would let me rub their legs and their ankles from the knee all the way to the foot. And, they would say they felt so much better, especially those who had, different afflictions, who had strokes, who had different kinds of, cerebral palsy, who had problems with walking, So I would rub them, and they said they would feel something lift up off of their back. So we have these types of ailments, that are in the holy books. And I've had to tell many men and women, when they have problems with their spine, when they have problems, at the base of their spine, any kind of spinal injury, that is an attack upon you from the entity, that they don't want you to be able to move forward. You're not able to carry any heavy loads. That I have people who come to me who have the curvature of the spine, scoliosis, especially when you get older, or people who have tried to minimize themselves. They will always, curl themselves over. Women who have a heavy bust line will have a curvature of the spine around the neck. That is also, something negative. You have to make sure that you haven't been engaged in attacking chosen ones. You have to make sure that you haven't been engaged in, racism. You have to make sure that you haven't been engaged in attacking children who are chosen ones, or vulnerable elderly people, or mentally or physically challenged people. When you do those types of attacks on people who are vulnerable to you, you want their finances, you want, these spiritual narcissists, they want their health, they want to put these people on medicine, for the financial gain. When you have these types of people, then you will find that there is, a negative entity, attached to their neck and their back. So we have these understandings that a lot of things that have been going on with our health is spiritual. It can be cleansed. But these are the things that a spiritual, doctor, a spiritual healer will tell you, and a professional medical doctor cannot tell you. So when we have different kinds of and I have to go back to Paul, because we have the understanding that Paul was an apostle, and from my understanding, he was self-proclaimed. Nobody, God did not ordain for Paul to go around torturing the disciples, to harm the disciples. So a lot of his afflictions came from his own, torment of other people, of God's people. A lot of his mental problems, and this is what I have been trying to discuss with you guys all week. A lot of your mental problems is because you're not in competition with God's people. Those mental issues, those psychic attacks, you have caused those psychic attacks upon your own life. God has afflicted you, and the birds are eating off of your head, like Joseph told the man in jail, in the prison that was with him. The birds are eating off of some of your heads because you have attacked some of the chosen ones, and you were not supposed to do that. So those types of things we cannot heal, because God has afflicted you, men or women, but we have different types of ailments and sicknesses that can be healed. of course, Allah is great. So we have these understandings. I'm going to give you some of the sicknesses that were listed in the Holy Bible and in the Holy Quran, so that you will have an understanding of different kinds of ailments. And I already told you that anything necessitating the skin or the scalp, all you have to do, we have to remove that hair so that we can get to that ailment, that skin psoriasis that's on your scalp, so that we can heal it. So, and many times we can, make sure that we're working with these types of problems. I've had people come with eczema, with psoriasis. I've had different people come with different things, with the face, people with dark spots in their face. And we were definitely able to use the holistic medicine in order to heal and cure those types of attacks, those types of entities that may have been dispatched to you because of your beauty or because you're handsome. As you were a child, someone was jealous of, envious of you. Someone on your job or in your school may have been jealous or envious of you and sent the evil eye towards you. But usually it is someone that is close to you, someone that you know. So, these are our understandings of what was going on, with the fibromyalgia that we deal with now and the widespread pain that we deal with now. This is what was going on back then. So it says that the Bible lists various sicknesses and afflictions, including leprosy, blindness, paralysis, fevers, boils, consumption, wasting disease, dysentery, and pestilence. And these are just some of the ailments that you can find in the Holy Bible, and some of them also in the Holy Quran that can be healed. And we have the black seed oil. We have the Zamzam water. I've been giving you some of the waters that I make with the herbs. And back when I was running my own caregiver homes, for the elderly, the mentally challenged, those types of people, then I would, many times they would never have colds, because while I was making my tinctures, or while I was making my elixirs for my clients, they would be like, well, what's that? Let me taste it. I would give them an allspice tincture or an allspice elixir. And, they did not have, the coughs and colds and things of that nature. It also, it helps out with, different kinds of flu ailments, bronchitis, breathing problems. When you have a tincture, you can also use it for rubbing. You can use the elixir, for any kind of problems like the flu, COVID-19. That's what I was trying to think of. I can't even, think about it right away like that. So, those types of ailments that we're having, right now in this day and time, that, I've had people that say they've had COVID 6 times. Okay, that's too much. And you need to build up your immune system. So the reason that we become under attack is because we're not taking the direction of our ancestors. We're not taking the direction of the elders. We're not taking the direction of what the holy books are saying to us. That a lot of the medicines that were given to us by the holy books, a lot of the medicines is not just the medicines that we're after. We're after the person that can apply these types of remedies, and know these types of remedies and holistic medicine. With the flaxseed oil, those types of antivirals, that we can make from the holistic medicine and the herbs of the earth. Those people, again, who have been reaching out to me, who have been having problems with bloating, where they have eaten something from a narcissist and they have sent black magic to them from a spiritual narcissist over these holidays. That has to be cleansed out of your stomach. And usually when I use my remedies or my elixirs with some of the people who were from my caregiving home, then they would usually just have a bowel movement of all black. So this is when I knew that those types of remedies was working. That's when I knew that, when they became sick, when these type of people who had different kinds of mental illnesses, they became sick after trying some of my elixir, and it cleansed them out. And I would have really loved to, have someone to help me pray over those people, but they would use the bathroom out all black. And that goes for, some of the people who were bipolar disorder, some of them who were, mentally challenged with cerebral palsy, who had the muscular dystrophy. And, and I used to call one of my, I think that he had Down syndrome. One of my patients had Down syndrome. So, anytime that they would, use these types of internal cleanses, they would just use the bathroom out all black. So we have to be very careful, because a lot of you do not get the cleanses that we used to get in the old times. That a lot of you don't like to cleanse yourself out. You don't like to use the bathroom, and you're supposed to use the bathroom regularly. And when someone has sent something negative to your body, if you are dealing with the people who have laid tricks for you, where you have stepped over something, you have to cleanse your bowels out, because that kind of toxins, they go to your organs, they go inside your body, they can go to your brain, they can cause mental deficiencies with you. So, but we also, like I said, we want to talk about those types of attacks, also from the medical professional. So you will have people who will, in the medical professional, will, experiment on you. You will have people who will misdiagnose you. So I have been getting some of those types of clients, some of those followers. And the most recent one, I got her permission to talk about her story here today, where she was having mold problems, mold illness, with heart palpitations, breathing problems, problems, seeing. And so the medical professionals, because she was having these types of heart palpitations, she was having dizzy spells and things of that nature. Instead of them treating her for the mold illness, they put a stent in her heart. So we have to be very careful about these people who, are not listening to you. They're only looking at the symptoms. So this helps when you come to a holistic, person, a professional, a holistic healer, a spiritual healer, so that we can guide you to the right path, so that you can make sure that if you're having problems with your prostate, then you need to make sure that you are getting an internal cleanse. There are several internal cleanses that we can use, and you can still, ask your medical professionals whether this can be used with whatever medicines that you're on. So, this is how we work with these types of things hand in hand. So we want to make sure that we're having an external and an internal cleanse when you're dealing with any kind of your organs, any kind of prostate cancer, any kind of things like that. You have to make sure that you're working with your medical professional, and you can also see if the holistic medicines will work for you. There are several different kinds of cleanses that I can recommend to you. You know, you can reach out to me in my description, and I will make sure that I get a cleanse acclimated to your healing situation. So we're healing different situations, and now we're understanding that a lot of the situations, the widespread pain, the cancer, all of these types of things, the blindness, all of these things have been in the holy books all the time. But they are also telling you, you know, as the chosen ones, that a lot of these medical professionals, you know, they might can help you. You know, you may have to go to them, like the woman with the issue of the blood, for 12 years before they help you. And they may not. You may only can go to the chosen one. In the woman with the woman in the blood, in all three cases, she could only try to find Jesus. She had the faith of Jesus and prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, that he was going to heal her if she could just touch him. And she was able to do so. And she felt instantaneous relief from that kind of negative energy inside her body, her organs. So, you know, I hope that you have received this message about, you know, these types of healings, the illnesses and the sicknesses that are with the chosen ones. They can be healed. But you must go through, in many cases, the chosen ones that have this type of knowledge that God has sent in your life in order to heal these types of illnesses and these types of diseases that are upon us. So I hope you received this message. Please like, share, and subscribe to me over all of my platforms. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for your support. Please book your one-on-one sessions with me, your life coaching sessions, or your video chat sessions, so I can acclimate a gift to you. You can reach out to me at www.HighOracle.com, or you can leave a comment for me here on YouTube. Please donate to me. I'm High Oracle, Reiki spiritual healer. Assalamu alaikum.